Daily Wire has this report. Fast food restaurant chain Chick-Fil-A received backlash on social media as conservatives learned that the firm's corporate office advances a number of diversity initiatives, a revelation which came as brands such as Bud Light and Target faced criticism for embracing woke ideology. Social media users noted that Chick-fil-A, which has a long-standing reputation as a firm run on the basis of conservative and Christian principles, hired Eric Reynolds as vice president of diversity, equity, and inclusion 2 years ago. Chick-fil-A prominently features a number of diversity programs meant only for females and members of racial minorities on a DEI segment of its website, which surfaced in the days after Target and Bud Light witnessed sales and market capitalization hits. Beyond collaborations with various national diverse professional development organizations such as the Women's Food Service Forums, the National Black MBA Association, and the Association of Latino Professionals of America, the restaurant chain offers community groups such as Women in Business, the Black Employee Resource Group, and the Chick-fil-A Green Team. The company also seeks to develop, quote, mentorship, development, and partnership opportunities for minority-owned businesses to strategically engage with their supply chain. Chick-fil-A additionally includes sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression in its employment non-discrimination statement alongside race, sex, religion, and veteran status. Now, first of all, as others have pointed out, this is no surprise from Chick-fil-A. They didn't go woke just now. If there was a specific moment when they went woke, or at least when it became apparent to the public that they went woke, that was back, and I think this was in 2020, when Dan Cathy, the CEO of the company, a couple years ago, on stage at some kind of event, got on his knees and shined the shoes of a black man on stage as a show of racial submission. So it was another struggle session, ritual humiliation that he willingly engaged in. And this was the CEO of Chick-fil-A. So after this moment, if you still had any notion that Chick-fil-A wasn't woke, well, I don't know where you got that idea from. But let's go back and watch that again. Here it is.
So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too, brother.
And some stock in Chick-fil-A.
But I bought about 1,500 of these, and I gave to all our Chick-fil-A operators and staff a number of years ago. And so any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, beget with an apologetic heart.
Well, certainly you get embarrassment out of that. So if he has a sense of embarrassment, if you have a sense of embarrassment while bending down to shine a black man's shoes as a show of white guilt, the sense of embarrassment is not from the fact that you're white. It's from what you are doing. You are embarrassing yourself. And did I hear that right? Because I've seen that clip before. I think maybe I never watched that clip all the way to the end because it's unbearable. Although I made you bear it just now. But did he say at the end there that he gave shoe shining kits to his employees in case they come across any black people whose shoes they want to shine? Did I get that right? I think I did. So yes, Chick-fil-A is woke. And even putting aside the pathetic display that we just watched there, the diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff is always left-wing indoctrination. It's always woke. In the not-too-distant past, private citizens used to be largely that, private. Well, what's changed? The internet has changed. Think about everything you've searched for, watched, or tweeted on the internet. Now imagine all that data being crawled through, collected, aggregated by third parties into permanent public records. To keep my data private when I go online, I use ExpressVPN. There are hundreds of data brokers out there whose sole business involves buying and selling your data. They don't even have to tell you who they're selling it to or get your consent. One of those data points is your IP address. Data harvesters use your IP to uniquely identify you and your physical location. But you can mask your IP address with ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN reroutes my connection through an encrypted server that makes it more difficult for third parties to find me. It sounds complicated, but really you just have to open the app and tap one button on whatever device you're using. It really is that simple. If, like me, you believe that your data is your business, Secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN on the market. Use my link at expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show to get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show. And I've heard some people say that, hey, just because they have a DEI initiative doesn't automatically mean they're kowtowing to the left. Yes, it does. That's what these initiatives are. Like, there's no such thing as a DEI initiative that is conservative or is neutral. It is all born from left-wing ideology. All of it. And automatically, if it's a diversity, equity, and inclusion program, they mean diversity, equity, and inclusion in the way that the left means it. That's automatically how it's meant. Like, there can be a context where you could use the word diversity and it's not a bad thing or a left-wing thing. Right, but if it's in this context, then the left owns that. And so they mean diversity in the way that the left means it. And how does the left mean it? They mean it exactly in the way that we just saw there from Dan Cathy, which is anti-white, white people debasing themselves, white people are guilty, white people have to apologize, fingers pointed at white people, it's all your fault. That's what they mean. That's what diversity, we talked about this last week, that's what diversity always means. Diversity means anti-white when it's coming from the left. If Chick-Fil-A has diversity initiatives, that means it's an anti-white initiative. And that's why they have programs to help minority-owned businesses. Well, what about or women-owned businesses? What? So white males don't need your help? It's horrific. It's wrong. It's evil. It is evil to go out as a wealthy corporation and say, we're going to help all the women and minority-owned businesses. You know, there are a lot of white males out there who own businesses and they're serving their communities and they're struggling. And they could really use the help too. So to skip over somebody because they're a white male is disgusting. It's awful. We should condemn it for the same reason everybody would condemn it if it was a diversity initiative where we're going to help all the business owners except for black women. Can you even imagine that? Can you imagine any sort of initiative, any kind of program that any corporation or any government entity endorsed where we're going to go out and we're going to find business owners and we're going to help all the business owners except if you're a black woman. We're not going to help you. And then everybody would say, well, that's incredibly racist and sexist. And, it wouldn't do any good to say, well, no, it's not. It's not nothing against the black women. Well, what do you mean? You're specifically excluding them. Of course it's something against them. Well, no. I mean, just because we have a program to help everybody except this one group that we've singled out doesn't mean it's nothing personal against them. Well, then why aren't you helping them? Why not have a program to just help everybody? Why not help any business owner? Here's a crazy idea. What about looking at the actual businesses themselves and making your judgment based on that? Finding the businesses that are especially struggling, finding the ones that are especially important to their communities, whatever. So yeah, this is woke. It's not just left-wing. It is far left. It is gross and disgusting, and we should condemn it. And I don't want to hear from it. There have been some conservatives, even ones that I respect, who have said, well, look, we don't want to, the perfect is the enemy of the good and all that, and Chick-fil-A is generally on our side, so let's not go after them. Yeah, they have a DEI initiative, but who cares? Yeah, they're doing programs to help everybody except for white men. They're singling white men. White men, get on your knees and shine the shoes of a black man. We're not going to help you. Yeah, they're doing all that, but otherwise they're good. No, I mean, it's a tired slogan at this point, but it is true to say this is why we lose. It's because of that kind of attitude. We got to stop making exceptions. We have to stop extending grace to these people that will never extend it back to us. Like, call things what they are, and let's just be and have zero tolerance, okay? A zero tolerance policy. As conservatives, we should have a zero tolerance policy for any DEI, any diversity initiative, anything anti-white, anything that pushes that pushes the trans agenda, pride flags. All of that is far left extremism. It is harmful. It is poisonous to society. All of it, and we should have zero tolerance for all of it. That's the only way. It is the only way, because the other way we've tried. So if you're one of the people that says, well, we don't have to throw it all out. Let's try to be a little bit more, find a middle ground. If you're one of those people, you are representing the viewpoint. That's not a new idea. That has been the strategy up until now. Has it worked? It's worked for the left. Hasn't worked well for us. We only started making real progress in the culture as conservatives when we drew a hard line, okay? Not a line in the sand, a line in the cement that is not going to move. When we started drawing the hard lines, that's when we started making progress. When we started to look at entire categories of things and said, all of that is wrong, we don't want any of it, we have no tolerance for it, get rid of all of it. Okay, the transing of kids. Finally, the right draws a hard line and says, all of that is terrible. I don't want any of it. Don't bring the trans stuff around kids, period. None of it. Don't put it on a baby onesie. Don't put it on, don't put it in the front of your store so kids can see it. Don't put it in the schools. Don't put it in the textbooks. And when we said that, we finally started making progress, but only then. It's the same thing with all this LGBT pride stuff and the DEI stuff. There is no way to we want little pieces of it are okay, and we'll get rid of the bad stuff. The only way is push all of it aside. Make all of it toxic. And punish the people who promote it and engage in it. That's the only way. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.